When I think of my childhood and the media surrounding my childhood as a 90s baby, I think of Mary-Kate and Ashley. There were no two people that I watched more than these twins. They were everywhere. They had me hoping a long-lost twin would randomly show up like on my front doorstep, even though I already had a sister. And I told everyone she was my twin, even though she's 3 years younger. Any bit of content they put out, I consumed. I read their books, especially the New Adventures of Mary-Kate and Ashley, okay? That series where they solved mysteries. I read every single one of those books like under the covers with my little flashlight at night. I watched their TV shows from Full House to So Little Time. I wanted everything from their toy line, everything from their iconic Walmart clothing line, but their movies. The Mary-Kate and Ashley movies are probably the most nostalgic for me. I quite literally grew up watching these movies. Whether the movie was about parent troubles or traveling or hanging out with cute boys, I was hooked. But looking back now as an adult, having witnessed majority of their legendary career, I can totally see why they ultimately decided to step back from the spotlight. I mean, they started working when they were literally like 6 months old. So today we're going to take a walk down memory lane and we're gonna build a house in The Sims 4 inspired by Mary-Kate and Ashley movies. Starting with the exterior, and I was trying to think of the most iconic houses and locations from the movies, and my first thought was the house from It Takes Two. And there's actually some interesting lore behind this house, which I'll explain in a second. But in this movie, the twins meet up for the first time when they go to summer camp. Except before summer camp, they never knew about each other. One of them is a rich girl and the other is an orphaned tomboy. So obviously they're shocked to learn that they're mirror images of each other. Both of them are worried about their caregivers for different reasons. So they decide to switch places with each other to make their caregivers fall in love with each other. So this is actually the house that the rich twin lives in at first. So here's the top view of the house. I'm actually really excited to build this because if I were to make a how to build a mansion in the Sims 4 tutorial again, this is the mansion I would use. And I say that because looking at this thing, we can easily break it down into rectangles. There's nothing weird about this going on, no diagonal walls, no rounded walls. We're really just looking at basic rectangles when we break it down. So like here, to the sides, and that's gonna make our lives a lot easier in the Sims 4. So let's build a house starting with that middle part. That rectangle that I just showed you, we're gonna build 2 floors, and then we're gonna build on the 3rd floor a smaller rectangle right in the middle. And before we go any further, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna roof majority of this. So we're taking right now a half-hipped roof piece, and I'm just adjusting this so that the top part will line up exactly with the room that I made. Once we have that lined up perfectly, we're gonna copy, and then I'm just going to adjust that all the way along on every side. And then on top of there, we're going to take a small half wall. I'm just using the second one, and we'll layer that on top. I'll change the color of the half wall trim, and I'm actually gonna lower this down by like 1 tick, and obviously the surrounding ones now, because we can add some detail onto this roofing already by adding some trim. So that method is how we're gonna roof like 90% of this house. And then we can go ahead and build those side rectangles. So I'm just gonna bring mine to about here. I'll copy and paste that and build 2 floors, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And the roofing on these two is actually much easier. So this time I'm just taking a full-on hipped roof and covering that room I just made. I think we're gonna have to make that center roofing just a little bit taller because I want it to be taller than those two. So I'm gonna bring it to about here, which means we could realistically build another full room on top and then add the half walls on that floor. So I'm just adjusting all of my roofing to match, adding back in my trim, and then I'm gonna page back down and we're gonna build a room coming into that other roof piece. So I'm just gonna grab that and extend it all the way along. I'll add some half walls on top of there, which I'm gonna hide underneath the roofing, and I'm just gonna go ahead and change the roof paint to this one from Horse Ranch. I'm going to take a thicker trim and we're just gonna put that along the bottom, again adding more detail to our roofing, and now we have those 3 main rectangles taken care of and we can start branching away. So as we do that, I'm gonna tell you some interesting lore I found out about this house. So this house where they filmed It Takes Two is actually located in North York, Ontario, Canada, which is particularly interesting to me because I am from Ontario, Canada. But this house was massive. It had an indoor pool, a gourmet kitchen, a ballroom, a wine cellar, a recording studio, and a bomb shelter. It had like 10 bedrooms and bathrooms. And when this house was standing, it was listed for 35 million Canadian dollars, which actually made it the most expensive publicly listed house for sale in all of Canada in 2017. But the house was abandoned for a long time. So in these pictures, you're gonna see it's like super overgrown. And eventually someone did buy buy this house, I think a couple years ago, maybe 2022. And instead of keeping the mansion, they decided to demolish it to build another one. So unfortunately, this house is no longer standing. I have not seen what they've built in its place, but I can only imagine the house is a monster. But okay, we have the right wing complete. Now I just have to do the left wing, which kind of just looks like this. I'm gonna roof it again in the same way I've been doing, just by building the room on top and surrounding it by the half-hipped roof. Okay, so here is our shell. This thing is huge. I'm adding on the wallpaper and I think I'm gonna keep it all the same. This is from the Riviera Retreat Kit. And we've got a couple options here. We could either go for the abandoned look or we could make it look like how it did in the movie, which I think is more so what I'm gonna lean towards. So I'm just gonna build out some patios with my hedge fencing for now. I don't think the actual house has stairs leading up like this, but I'm gonna add some just because I like the foundation look in The Sims. And now we can start adding our windows and doors. So first of all, these aren't actually windows, obviously, but I'm gonna be adding these from Cottage Living. I'm adding quite a few of them. We'll do 2 over to this side and then another 2 over here. Obviously, also adding them along the back. And for our windows, I think we can do a few different kinds. We could do these ones on the front from Discover University. I also really like these ones from Romantic Garden and these ones from Base Game. And this house is so big that I feel like we could get away with using 3 different types. So that is what we're going to do. And then for my door, I'm actually building out this little room. That way we can add an archway. This is from Jungle Adventure. And then in there, we can add our door. And then I was also thinking about adding a couple more doors along this side. Just one there and then one over here. I think the actual house has these. And then we'll just add some more fencing and stairs leading up to those doors. I'm gonna add a few chimneys. The ones I'm using are from Horse Ranch, along with just some little like roofing details. And this is looking so good, but I want to start doing some landscaping. So one thing I noticed about this house is it has a massive driveway. It's like a round driveway in the middle. There's a fountain. So we are going to take some terrain paint and then we're going to take a rounded deck piece. And with that, we're going to build a circle right in the middle. We might have to move all this back a little bit to accommodate it. And then obviously we'll delete the fencing. I'm going to replace the fencing with a hedge from Base Game. And in the middle, we'll just add some dirt flooring because I'm going to add some landscaping in there. And then we're going to pick a fountain. My favorite is this one from My Wedding Stories, or actually the one from Get Together is also really pretty. And then we can go in and surround the fountain with some flowers. I'm also going to line the inner part with some rocks. This is going to take a sec, so I'll finish this up in a minute, but I'm also going to add some really tedious but essential detail to my terrain paint. So I'm going to open up debug. We're doing bb.show hidden objects and bb.show live edit objects, and we're going to search for this object. I don't know if this is a package or if it's like a brick or a stone or something. I honestly have no idea, but we are going to put this along all of our terrain paint at the front. One by one, it's genuinely going to take forever and it's going to be so annoying, but I'm going to trace around this and use this instead of rocks. So I'm just going to finish the rest of the landscaping up off camera and I'll show you what I've got when I'm done. So this is how our house turned out from It Takes Two. I finally finished all of the landscaping and this is how it turned out. We've got our fountain in the middle. I added pathways to each of our doors using some debug Base Game stones. There are some benches going on in the garden and I wanted to add a little bit of the abandoned look. Nothing too crazy, so I just went in and added some Cottage Living plants going up the side. And here it is at the front. This is so big. It's such a beautiful mansion in The Sims 4. And then going to the back, this is what I did back here. So we have quite a few patio spots. I did find a picture of the back, so this is what I tried to do. Those steps going back in the garden were so pretty, but obviously I can't replicate that in The Sims 4, but I tried my best. We have a little fountain in the middle here. In the actual picture, they had garage doors going back here, so I'm adding that as maybe a garage space without cars, obviously. And I was actually thinking, since they are kids in this movie, I did want to add a swing set. We can also add in some monkey bars, just a couple things for them to do if we do add kids into this mansion. But yeah, there's like lounge spots back here. I think in gameplay, I would use this venue for like a wedding or something, but there we are. Let's now go start working on the interior. So this is the layout that I've come up with. For the bottom floor, we have our front entry right here. Then we're gonna have a dining room, a kitchen. Not really sure what this back here is going to be. Probably like a skill room or a fun room of some kind. We'll have a bathroom. Here we're gonna have another bathroom, but this one's gonna have either a walk-in closet or a separate like bathing room or something. This is gonna be a living room and we'll have the garage. And then coming upstairs, we'll have our hallway. We have a bathroom, 4 bedrooms. One of them over here with a walk-in ensuite bathroom, and also I think I might turn this into a massive closet. And then one of the bedrooms over here is gonna have a secret little room. I don't know what we'll put in there, but it's just like an awkward room that was there from the roofing. So I think we should do a fun room first. Let's try and do this one, and I think for the fun room, we'll make a room for Billboard Dad. So in Billboard Dad, 2 years after their mom's passing, the girls are determined to find their dad a date, who is clearly still grieving, but okay. They decide to use a billboard to paint an advertisement for their dad to find a date. Local news picks up the story, and the dad ends up agreeing to go on 5 dates. And basically all of the dates suck except for the last one, who he ultimately ends up with. Okay, so the first thing I want to look for is obviously a billboard. I know we have a few in The Sims 4, but I want it to look like the actual one that they paint in the movie, and I don't know how lucky we're gonna be finding that. So I guess that means we're just gonna have to make our own. So I'm gonna add this billboard from Get Famous, but then we're gonna go open up Dine Out, and I'm gonna use this wall sign to cover up the parts of the billboard that are showing. So I'm just using Alt to sort of place these on top of each other. We might end up with a little glitching there, but we're gonna add on to this anyway, so hopefully it won't be too bad. On the wall signs, you can actually clip these. They're also from Dine Out. They're just meant to go on here as advertisement or something. So I'm adding those on. This is their paint. And then we need to add a picture of the dad. This is actually so absurd that they did this without consent. And it's kind of funny because when I watched this as a kid, I felt bad for the kids. But looking back as an adult, I actually feel bad for the dad. All right, so what we're gonna do is delete this wall temporarily. And this way we can add the art wherever we want it. Should we make this our dad? No, we can't. We cannot do that. All right, Guydry is gonna be our billboard dad. So we're just gonna raise him up onto this. So it completely looks like it's part of the sign, and then we're gonna add the wall back. That is gonna be our painted billboard. So how do we pull this all together? First, I'm gonna add in some wood, and the cover art for this movie has blue font, so we'll use blue wallpaper. And I think we have to add an easel in this room. Obviously, they're painting the billboard. We can add some tarps from City Living, just like looking like they made a mess. And wait, I think the dad in this movie is actually a sculptor. So if we add this woodworking table from the artist studio kit, we could also add in some other artist studio stuff, like the paint buckets on the floor. City Living also has paint buckets we can add. And maybe it would be fun if we turn this into a bar. Like the dining room is right next door, so this could be some kind of paint bar. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to those events where you literally do go to a bar for like a paint night, they call them, and the bar literally hires like this painter to come in and host it. It's actually really fun. So that's what we're gonna try and do here. Ooh, that way we could add a sink for like our paintbrushes, and I'll just use some of the other surfaces, putting them behind the bar. And it could be also fun if on this side we add 5 tables signifying his 5 dates. I'll add some chairs, and then I think I'll also add 5 easels. So we've already got one over there. We can add 4 on this side, just sort of surrounding the area. And wait, this would actually be so fun for gameplay in The Sims because you could host your own paint nights. If you have The Sims 4 get together, you could host it as like a club. I'm gonna change up the lighting in here. I'm using these from Life and Death. The curtains I'm using are from Desert Luxe. I might just add some matching base game cabinets up here just for storage. And then behind there, I'm gonna add some pictures, and this can just be our like backsplash. We'll add the VIP bucket to add to the romance. I'm gonna add a little more decor in here, but so far this is looking like a super fun room. And it makes our billboard seem still kind of random, but not too weird. But I was also thinking in the back, what if we keep going with the Billboard Dad theme and add an indoor pool? Hear me out. In this movie, one of the twins is a professional diver and the other is a surfer. So it has a lot of scenes where the girls are swimming. And since I didn't add one outside and the actual house in real life had an indoor pool, I feel like it would just be fun to add one here. A little random, yes, but the door to go outside is right there. Sims can swim out here in all seasons without, you know, dying. Let's just add a little pool over here. I'll add some loungers, and we can also add some surfboard decor. Okay, so with everything added, this is what our Billboard Dad inspired room turned out like. We have all of our easels over here. This could be fun for like speed dating or something in The Sims. Over here we have our woodworking station, we have our billboard. I also added in some sculptures just hanging around. And then coming back here, this is where we have our random indoor pool. I added another billboard. We have the diving boards, the surfboards. This is a Sims dream come true. You will constantly catch them in here. Okay, let's jump across. I think we're gonna go all the way over to the other wing and do this room. This is technically likely our garage, and I was thinking here we could do a room for switching goals. So this is one of those movies where the twins decide to switch places. This is a common theme, to no surprise. I'd do the same thing if I had a twin, just to, you know, mess with people. But this time the girls switch soccer teams to suit their own agendas. Fun fact, Michael Cera is in this movie. He plays a bratty kid who's trying to get fitted for shoes, and he gets mad at the salesman and gives him quite a bit of attitude when he asks if he wants Velcro straps instead of regular tie-up laces for his cleats.
I have a very delicate bone structure.
That's interesting.
Okay, for this one, I obviously need to split this room in two, and I was thinking we make an indoor soccer field slash gym room. We're doing all of the fun rooms first today, apparently. To make it look a little cleaner, I'm gonna take a fence from Get to Work and just split that down the middle, and now we're gonna start working on our soccer field. And to do it, I'm going to be using pool lights from Spa Day. This item comes in handy in like the weirdest of situations. I don't think I've ever used it for its proper purpose. Like that one time I used it to build a spider web in the monster high school that we built. So first thing, I'm just gonna make a rectangle using these lights. Then we'll go out and build the goal. A little random fun fact about me, I actually used to be a soccer ref. It was one of my first jobs I ever had, and I refed like kids, like toddlers. Literally probably the worst job I've ever had. The parents would scream at me if I did something wrong, which I get like would maybe make sense if it was in a, you know, professional league, but again, I was reffing toddlers. They would just chase the ball in clumps. Like the ball would go and a crowd would follow. There was no strategy. I was also maybe like 14. Honestly, a traumatizing event, but I'm going to add this from Paranormal. This is actually a seance circle, but it's perfect for this little middle part. And then I don't know what we can do for this part, so I'm just gonna add in some rugs and I'm gonna size down. And I mean, this is looking pretty good for our makeshift field. We'll add a soccer ball in the middle. Sims can play with the soccer ball, they kind of just kick it around, so this whole field won't be functional, so I'm not going to bother with goalposts or anything, but it still looks cool. And then on this side, I'm going to split this into, again, I'm going to use a half wall. We're not going to get it perfectly, but that's okay. I want to add some mirrors. I'm also going to add them on this side, and I'll also just add in my curtains. But the reason why they switch places in this movie is because one of them is really good at soccer, really good at sports, you know, wins all the time. So on this side, I'm going to add some gym equipment, like some treadmills. They like this kind of working out. We can even add like a rug here. And then on this side, the other twin doesn't really care for sports. I think she really just joins the team to get the attention of a boy. I might be wrong, but so on this side, I'm gonna add all like pink workout equipment. The Sims 4 Love Struck has these little weights. They also come in pink, so I'm gonna add a couple of these. The Everyday Kit also has some yoga mats, so I'll add some of those as well. Maybe we can just add a small couch here too. And then also, just to make this room more fun, I'm gonna add some TVs. I'll keep it cohesive to the other room we made by adding some chandeliers. I've been using the bistro lights, and we can add in some Discover University soccer pictures. Okay, so this is how this room turned out. This looks so fun. It's again such a unique room. Only a mansion this size would have a room like this in it, and it's just so fun and nostalgic for me. Like, I also played soccer as a kid, and I feel like watching this movie was why I signed up. So it is kind of cool to see it come to life in The Sims. All right, let's start doing some actual rooms we need in the house. So I think next we'll do a living room, which will be right here. And for that, we'll build for Winning London. In Winning London, the twins go to London as students in a United Nations competition for a scholarship. But things go wrong as someone is trying to keep the girls from winning. When they aren't worrying about the contest though, the girls go sightseeing, they go shopping, and they find a romance along the way. All right, so for this room, I'm gonna use this wallpaper from Cottage Living, and we're actually gonna split it in two. So back here, I was thinking we make a study, and this can represent their, you know, UN competition or whatever the reason is why they go to London in the first place. And you'll see that a lot of these movies going forward that we're gonna be covering have some sort of travel element to them. This becomes a common theme in a lot of their movies as they age into like their teenage years. They go to Rome, they go to London, Australia, Bahamas. So a lot of the rooms that we're gonna do will will be inspired by some sort of place and its associated decor in the movie. So on this side, I was thinking we could add this from Discovery University, along with the massive flags that come off the wall, which I can't size down, so they're just gonna have to be big. And we're also going to add a podium, so Sims could do the research and debate skill here. Actually, maybe not on this one from Life and Death. That's a little different. We need this one so Sims could actually use it properly. So there we have that signifying their competition. We can use cottage living to bring in more like British inspired decor, like this phone box. I was also thinking about this wall sign, just kind of going with this color scheme. I'm going to separate this back here using some stone columns. I might do a gallery wall back here using these. These are from Get Together. I was gonna add a piano in here. There is actually one scene that I remember from this movie vividly, and it's when they're all in this hall or this meeting or something. They're like watching this presentation, and then in the middle of the presentation, these guys come in with water guns, and that's what they use to kidnap everybody, which is just really funny again looking back on that. On this side, this is where we're gonna add the actual living room. It's pretty big, so I'm gonna use this sectional from Dream Home Decorator. We'll add a big fireplace here. We can put our TV on top. We'll add some more bookshelves, some extra chairs, and I'm just coming on the gallery to download some art to add into this room. So this is what we did for our Winning London inspired room. We've got the debate area over in the back. Sims could use that for studying. You've got your bookshelves back there. You can do the research and debate skill here. I actually added one of the research and debate computers. So there's that. And then coming over to the other side, I ended up adding the water balloon bucket from Seasons, just as a nod to like the water guns. It is near a door going outside, so hopefully Sims will take them and go that way. I doubt they will, but it's fine. And then this is our living room with the pictures that I added. I used some of the vampires frames to go around those pictures. And I also tried to add some fashion items in here. Like we've got some magazines. I used the purse clutter from Modern Luxe. Here is another angle of it. It's nice that these rooms are so big because we are fitting a lot of skill items in here. Like every room has been including something unique to do, but we're ready to move on. Let's finally go back and do the kitchen and dining. So we're gonna build a When in Rome inspired kitchen. In When in Rome, the twins land internships at a famous fashion house in Rome. But when they get there, they're immediately fired. They have to find a way to get their job back while adventuring through Rome, embracing Italian culture, and you guessed it, running around with Italian boys. So I wanted to build a kitchen for this movie because there are a couple iconic scenes, like the one where they're making pizza and she tries throwing it up to the ceiling to like toss the pizza and it gets stuck. So we have a pizza oven in The Sims 4. I want to include that. And there's also a scene where they're trying to make espresso, so we could also include an espresso corner in this room. This is a very big kitchen, so I'm adding counters surrounding the whole thing. We can also add an island in the middle. I can also maybe include a sink right there. And I like that this is separated and kind of closed off from the dining room, because if we wanted to hire some help, like a caterer in this kitchen, this is where they could go. I'm going to use a fridge from Life and Death. I'll also use the matching stove, and we have a lot of room on this wall, so I'm going to add a lot of pantry space. I'm adding some bar stools to my island, but since they are technically in a room for fashion, I was thinking we could add in some of these pictures from Modern Luxe. I'll add a couple of them over here too. They have some perfume and some boot swatches. Over here we'll add the espresso machine with the grinder. Get Together has some really nice coffee clutter we could add, and on top of there I'll add a shelf from For Rent. The pizza oven I was talking about actually comes with the Home Chef Hustle stuff pack, so I'm gonna toss that into the corner. But in the movie they're actually using one of those big wood ovens for the pizza. We do not have that in The Sims 4, but we can sort of cheat it with this fireplace. This is from Jungle Adventure. We're gonna shrink it and then I'm gonna raise it up on top of the counters. I feel like you could probably manipulate this so that it is functional. Like what if I shrunk this down and then put this right on top? I still need to be able to see it so I can click on it. So maybe I'll just leave like the little back part poking out, and I'll get my sim to come and test it. I'll just make a marinara pizza. Yeah, no, it's not functional like that, but that's okay. We can just keep this here for show and then have our actual pizza oven, our functional one, over in the corner. So I'm just gonna add a little more decor in here. I think this Party Essentials platter could work with something on top of it like the tomato sauce. We could toss in a Cozy Bistro wine bottle, the apple centerpiece from Cozy Kitsch. We need a trash can, and this vase from the Artist Studio kit could work really nicely in here too. All right, so this is our When in Rome inspired kitchen. I love it in here. I love the color palette. We've got the fashion element with those pictures. Ooh, I did also just just want to add some letters because they have that scene where they're rollerblading through the apartment hallways and they're calling for like mail call. So we'll have those letters. We've got our pizza oven, our espresso machine. I added some dishwashers over there. And then on this side, we have all of our appliances, a double sink. I found a picture of the Italian flag on the gallery, which I framed. Again, so much room in here. Multiple Sims could be cooking in here and it would be fine. And it's sectioned off so you could hire help and they would not be in the main rooms. I really like this aesthetic, so I think I'm gonna bring that through to the dining room. This way we can finish off this bottom floor and start thinking about going up to the bedrooms. So I'm adding two tables pushed up against each other, so we have this really big dining table. I really wish Lovestruck came with some matching dining chairs to match my bar stools. So for now I'm just using these ones from base game. I'm bringing the chandeliers and the lighting that I've been using with me. We could add an actual fireplace in this room, and I'll raise some artwork onto this ledge, and we could add some of these bar backs over here from the bistro kit. We'll add some nectar stands. We're nice and close to the bar room in the back too, so this will be nice and convenient. I'm stocking our shelves with more wine from Horse Ranch. All right, so here is the matching dining room to our kitchen. It is obviously massive in here. You could fit multiple Sims at this table. We've got the bar backs over there with some wine storage. We have more room for storage over here under our bistro mirror. So that ties this wing together. Other than the bathrooms, I think I'm gonna hold off on those. But I did also just finish off this main entry area, just again sort of tying all of this together. There are like ottoman spaces in here from Dream Home Decorator where you can maybe sit and put your shoes on. And yeah, I'm gonna leave our bathrooms for now. We'll leave this massive one with the closet. Look at the bottom floor though so far. Okay, let's go and start doing some bedrooms. We'll start with this bedroom over here. I want to build this one for a New York Minute. In New York Minute, we meet Jane and Roxy, who are twins from Long Island, and they don't get along that well. They skip school to adventure into Manhattan, where Jane has to deliver a speech for a scholarship. And Roxy, she wants to meet up with Simple Plan. But the entire time they're being trailed by the school's truant officer because, you know, they're skipping school. So they have to work together to get themselves out of the trouble that they've found themselves in. I've kind of just added beds in here as placeholders so I don't get lost while building this mansion. But I think for this one, I want to try and aim for a black and white theme. I was a little torn on what to do because technically we should be adding 2 beds in each room since, you know, they are twins. But I don't think we're going to do that just for functionality of the house. That won't really make sense. For this one though, we will. So this could maybe be a twin teen bedroom. And this is another one of those movies where they're opposites. Like Roxy is wild, she's a musician, she's always getting into trouble, skipping school, whereas Jane is more reserved. She loves studying. She's always trying to do everything right. She doesn't want to get in trouble. So for her side, I want to add a vanity. I want bookshelves. I want a desk where we can add a computer for her to study. We'll keep it clean and organized. I wanted to add a cork board like this one. We'll add some end tables with some Discover University lamps. I've been using this lamp too that matches that chandelier I've been using. This is from Life and Death. And then this is going to be that room with the walk-in closet. So they're gonna go into this room, which we could do like a closet seating room sort of thing. And then this is like the main closet. And then this over here will be their ensuite bathroom. So I've added curtains leading into the closet. So we have something nice going over here for Jane's side so far. We're also gonna give her a tablet like a planner. But then for Roxy's side, this is where more of like the black, white, and red will come in. For artwork for this side, I was looking for like an I Heart New York picture because in the movie they wear matching I Heart New York t-shirts because of course they do. So I think I am going to try and make that sign using pool lights. It shouldn't be that difficult, right? It's always a risk when I do this because sometimes it turns out so good. Sometimes it turns out horribly. I guess that's not such a bad eye. I'm scared to attempt the heart though, so I'm gonna skip it for now. We're gonna do the N. We are for sure gonna run into problems here. I know it. I'll just bring the lights over this way and then we'll go down, oh, the N, like that, and then just kind of bring it back up like this. I feel like I should have shrunk these. Okay, there's my N. Let's carry on. We'll do the Y, and the Y kind of looks like this, and then we bring it down, but we have to line it up with the N. You know what? It's not horrible, but we still have to do the heart. And I will eventually change these lights so that they're red, just like the actual heart, but let's just bring this around, coming down like this, bring it back up. I always have a hard time making these symmetrical. Like one side is always slightly shifted over, and now we just have to fill it in. And I'll change all of these lights here to red. And okay, is it perfect? Definitely not, but it's not bad. I was thinking it would match pretty well with this clothing rack. I was also gonna add some shelves above to add more clothes. And with the walk-in closet and with the bedrooms, I want to have a pretty heavy fashion element because in their movies, every single one, it doesn't matter what age they were fashionable. And even looking back now, their outfits stood the test of time. Like they were iconic then and they're still iconic now. But over here, I've added some record clutter. I'm just adding this little bear because I feel like it matches. We'll add the stacks of CDs. I was thinking instead of a desk on her side, we could add a keyboard. I think she actually plays the drums, but we obviously don't have those in The Sims. We can add some guitars though. I think I'll add a few of them. And I also wanted to add some posters on her side. Also maybe some CD and record clutter. We could add an actual record player. And here we have our New York Minute bedroom. Our main focus obviously being that sign that I made, but we have the records over here, the closet, some instruments for Roxy. And then we have this side more of a cleaner, organized, studious sort of style. And then starting with the closet, I'm gonna add some neon mirrors from Spot A, and I'll add those wardrobe stands from Get Famous. Two of them, obviously. We already had one vanity here, but I think I'm gonna add another one in this room. So this could be like more of a styling room. It's like you pick out your outfit in that room back there, and then you come in here to see if you like it, maybe do your makeup. We'll keep with the same sort of vibe with like the neon. We can add some chairs in here. They do end up getting along in this movie, obviously, so I think it's fine if we combine aesthetics in this one. We can add some purse clutter too for their different styles. Maybe they're hanging from this star mirror. So this can be our styling room. They've got those wardrobe things, they're facing the mirrors. And then coming in this room, I wanted to use these different dressers from Get Famous. They have some different swatches, so you can change up the swatch of like the clothes in there, so it's not all the same thing. I think I'll add mirrors at the end of this room too. Or maybe we could add these Love Struck lights in here. And then we'll add some more dressers on this side. These ones are from Modern Luxe. I added in a couple pink things along with some bookshelves, just some extras to tie together the two aesthetics. And this is our walk-in closet. I feel like we need something big here that you can see in the mirror. Yeah, just something to add into that end of the hallway. All right, so walk-in closet complete. We just have to do the ensuite bathroom. This house is pretty unreal at this point. Like we have a lot that we've added. When I was planning for this video, I definitely did not think we would be making a monstrous mansion, like a literal dream home, but here we are. Just sticking to this black and white theme that we've been using. I'll add in a mirror from Get Famous. I think there's a red swatch. I'm adding this ottoman from Base Game. I've got some robes. We need a plant or something in this corner. Maybe we could add a bathroom cabinet from Parenthood along with this one. And there we have our massive ensuite bathroom. This ties together the huge bedroom that we've done for New York Minute. This space for them is like literally the size of a starter home, but we're ready to move on from here. Let's do the next bedroom, and maybe this one can be for Passport to Paris. In this movie, the twins travel to Paris on spring break to visit their grandfather, who is like casually the US ambassador to France. So obviously he has a strict assistant to watch over the teen girls, but they end up ditching him. To their credit, this was before the movie Taken, okay? And they end up touring around this city with some French boys. These movies to me as a child at the time were the epitome of romance. I was like, oh my gosh, my destiny is to travel to France and tour around with some French boys. I wanted to be them so bad. Then I saw the movie Taken. So I actually recently did a Paris inspired bedroom in one of the Bratz movie videos that I did, like for the one where they go to Paris. So I was thinking we do a kid's room this time. And what if half of their bedrooms were super fancy? We get these like fancy beds for when they're staying with their grandfather. It can be super perfect with like these little end tables, a fancy lamp. They can have these like fancy expensive dressers for both of them, expensive mirrors. We'll get some fancy Paris art. This is the creator I downloaded this from. I'm gonna add this like insane chandelier, and I'm using this picture from Paranormal to put behind as my frames. We can add these fancy like toy boxes too from the storybook kit. They're not necessarily kids in this movie. I mean, I think they were like 13 when they filmed this, but I did want to include a kid's room in this house. So that's why you have this. This side is all fancy when they're stuck being taken care of by the grandpa's like assistant, but then we'll add a divider, and this can be for the more fun side, kind of representing when they escape the assistant and explore Paris on their own when they're 13. This is actually probably one of my least favorite Mary-Kate and Ashley movies. In some of the movies where they're traveling to other places, we kind of lose the plot. I'm also downloading this art, by the way. Like in some of them, it just sort of seems like they come up with any random reason to just send them off to a location to film the movie. And like, again, I am not hating because I totally ate this up. But even as a kid, I remember thinking, this one's not my favorite. Maybe it would be cute for this room if we added a little bistro table with just some pink chairs. This could be where they play a game. I'm adding some vinyl pictures into this room. We've got room right here, so I think I'll add a big bookshelf with a cute stuffed animal in it. I am also going to add a speaker, and I was actually thinking about adding this dance floor because I think the girls end up going to a dance at the end. So maybe I'll just kind of move my table off to the side so they have room for that. All right, so this is our Passport to Paris bedroom. This is pretty. This is a lot different than the more modern looking, more fashion inspired one that I did for Bratz. This one is obviously more luxurious and fancy than any of the other ones that we've done. And we finally have a kids room in this house. Okay, moving on from this room, let's go do another bedroom. Let's do this one with the secret room. This one will be for Our Lips Are Sealed. This is my favorite Mary-Kate and Ashley movie of all time. I actually loved this movie so much. I tried writing a book as a kid, and the book was literally just this movie. So the twins are forced to go into a witness protection program, and the FBI sends them to Sydney, Australia. They have a hard time adjusting at first, especially since they're still being tracked in Sydney by criminals. But while they're here, they learn all about the Australian culture, learning how to surf, again, meeting cute boys, and eventually they take out the bad guy via boomerang. I told you a lot of these rooms are inspired by destinations, so like this house is turning out to be really cool because it's kind of like each room is a different big city at the same time. But okay, I wanted this one with a secret room, so we can add a secret bookshelf door and maybe another one. Because they're in the witness protection program, we could add something back here to represent that. And I'm gonna save the last one for our parent bedroom, so this one can still be a shared bedroom for them. So for this one, again, they're mostly in Australia, so I want to aim for more of a beachy, laid back sort of vibe. Maybe I can place my other bed over on this side. These beds are from high school years, and I'm gonna use some end tables from growing together. We can use some of these rugs from laundry day underneath the beds, and I want to use some of these surfboards again. I wonder if there's more surfboard stuff in Island Living Debug. I wish we actually had a surfing skill in The Sims 4 because in The Sims 2 on console, and maybe some of the other Sims games, I'm not sure, but I know for sure on console they have a surf machine. Like one of those ones where your Sims would go on and wipe out pretty much every single time until they got good at it. I loved that thing. It was so funny. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any more surf stuff. I don't want to go too beachy because the next one we're going to do is Holiday in the Sun. So for this one, maybe we'll focus more on their travels because before they actually get to Australia in this movie, they're put in many different countries and cities in the witness protection program, but they just don't work out. So they're kind of constantly moving around and being sent somewhere else. So maybe that's why we can keep some luggage. Maybe they haven't fully unpacked. We'll add the cork board with a bunch of different destinations like postcards on it. And the whole reason why they're put into the witness protection program in the first place is because they witnessed someone stealing a diamond. But then the diamond ends up being put into one of the girls' bag, hence why they have criminals chasing them the entire time. So obviously we'll add this big fancy necklace. I'll use this vanity on the table. We need another dresser over on this side. We can add this ottoman from Island Living at the end of the bed. And let's see what kind of pictures we can find on the gallery. I found this picture I definitely wanted to include because the opera house is in the background of the movie cover. I'm adding these lights from Lovestruck above the bed just to brighten it up a little bit. We could also add one of the mirrors with like the portraits in it. Again, could be memories from their travels. And I'm gonna add these Lovestruck trees over in the corner as well. I think I might also just add in the Lovestruck lip lights. I feel like this item would be so much better if it was an actual neon light, but we had to add it in. It is called Our Lips Are Sealed. But here's the first part of our bedroom. We still have to do that secret room, but here is this side, and here we have the other. And now that I'm thinking about it, for their secret room, we'll have this long hallway, and hidden back here we'll add this stolen necklace. The description of this is the stolen necklace of the late Duchess Pinky. It's a fancy necklace. This is where we could hide the actual like diamond necklace that we have. And then I was just gonna add in some more cabinets with more jewelry hidden inside. Maybe I'll stick like crystals in the shelves so you can't really see them anyway, but in a mansion like this one, I don't think it's overly surprising to have hidden jewelry away like this. Plus, it fits with the storyline of the movie, so there we go. We've got our hidden jewelry room. I'm also just quickly gonna add some security cameras in here as well. Okay, moving on from here, we're gonna move into this room. This will be a parent bedroom, and it'll be for the movie Holiday in the Sun. In Holiday in the Sun, the girls are spending winter break in the Bahamas, but they're kind of mad about it because that means they have to miss their school trip to Hawaii. What a hard place to be in. Anyway, they stay at a resort while they're here, and one of the girls falls for a resort worker named Jordan, except someone else is in love with Jordan. And oh yeah, that someone else is Megan freaking Fox. Megan Fox sabotages them and blames Jordan for the crime. So the girls must find a way to expose the real culprit. So I've already moved this in here. This is a canopy from Island Living, and I wanted to put it over top of a bed. This one is going to be Bahamas themed, so we can use the bed underneath from Island Living. I want it to be super nice and relaxing in this room. They're at a resort in this movie, so I want it to give off like resort vibes. Maybe our bed can actually be this way so we can have a TV facing on the other wall. So I'll add that right here. We could add these trees from Love Struck like in behind the bed. We could also add a mirror underneath. I actually want to bring in some decor to the max in this room, so I'm going to use this fancy dresser and I'm going to add in these end tables. We could use this lamp maybe in the corner. So this is how our Holiday in the Sun room turned out. I was aiming for a nice cozy resort style of room, something that felt warm and inviting. There's a seating area over in the corner. We have some towels ready to go, a record player to the other side, and then finally I pulled together the remaining rooms with the seating area, added another piano over in the corner, and I finished off all of the bathrooms. This mansion ended up with 4 bathrooms in total. This is the one near the art studio, and for the bathroom near the main entry, the one that had the massive room attached to it, I ended up turning that room into a sauna room. I hadn't made one of these in a while and it just fit perfectly. The location was right, attached to the bathroom, and that has been us building a house for Mary-Kate and Ashley movies in The Sims 4. I hope you guys like this video. Let me know which room was your favorite, what was your favorite movie, and if you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.